Hey, Tubies! It's Psychic Bob. Well, here we are. It's Sunday. And you know what that means? It's time for the witching hour. I tell you, we got a great crew here. We got Lady Angela. Lady Angela, you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody. So glad you're here and very excited for tonight's show.
And we got Lady Carol here. Carol, you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone.
And you got old crazy Lord Bob, the psychic one, who's, well, you know, we are who we are.
Yeah, I'm crazy too now, Bob.
What's that, darling?
I said, I'm crazy too now, Bob. You ain't the only one.
Yes, well, you know, I didn't want to level anybody with that chart. It is what it is.
I wear it proudly.
Well, I'm telling you, I am so glad you're here. Lord Tony is tied up tonight, so he won't be with us. But hopefully he'll be with us next week, and we'll have an awesome time. But, oops, hold on, my lighting is falling apart here. Hold on just a second. I don't have the best lighting right now. Anyways, hope everybody can see us out there.
We also got Carol tonight. Carol, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, everyone. Happy Father's Day.
Yes, happy Father's Day to all the dads and stepdads, everybody.
Well, you know, I'm telling you, you know, this is a wonderful night because, you know, I love that we have the witching hour on Sunday because I always think of Sunday as kind of like family time. You know, like most families gather together on Sunday evening and watch a movie or have a dinner. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I always think of Sunday, it's a more spiritual day, you know, a day to show reverence. So I love it that we have the witching hour and we just by speaking about witchy things and gathering together about these topics, you know, it raises the energy and it shows honor and reverence for all types of spirituality. So I really like that.
Absolutely. I so agree. I so agree.
So people are asking about where's Tony and how is Mama Hickman?
Oh, bless the heart. Excuse me. Lord Tony has been tied up dealing with his family. His son just graduated, so they've been busy with parties and all sort of business for that. And, you know, so Lord Tony will be back with us, not to worry. And as for Mama Hickman, she's doing great. I just saw her about an hour ago, and I visited with her. She's looking great. She's already starting to walk a little bit, and she's not having too much pain. She's feeling really good, looking good, and good spirits. So I wanted to say thank you to all of you who sent prayers. Thank you so much. It really is helping.
Carol, I am loving that hat. Girl, you're styling.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually just got this, and it's a red one. I know how Bob's always talking about red and how hard they are to find. Well, I found a red knitted hat, and it's actually a small point, but I love it.
I love that. You have the coolest hats. I just got off work, so you guys got to ignore I don't have my hat on, but I got my purple cord, of course. I'm here.
That's right. We're all got our purple. Carol, you got your cord on too?
Oh, yeah. I've got my little one on because I packed my larger one, and I'm just wearing the small one now.
All right. Well, that works. You know, the purple cord can be big or it can be small, but it's still powerful, no matter what size the cord is.
Wow, Gab Hines, he says he's had a super Father's Day. We're so glad to hear that. He says he has a Ganesha statue, a selenite lamp, a Moldavite pendant, and an angelic protection magic book. That's cool. And thanks, Billy Atkinson, about, I like my Batman shirt too. It has bats that glow in the dark, and it's so cool.
I'm loving that shirt. I really am.
So what do you have in mind for tonight, Bob?
Well, you know, I thought tonight, oops, hold on, I'm trying to get my screen adjusted here. But I thought tonight it would be fun to take some questions and, you know, see what people want to ask. I thought we'd have kind of another open forum and answer Wiccan questions tonight. So for those of you who, you know, have questions about Wicca or magic or ritual or altars or anything like that, you know, we'd like to answer it tonight because you got a panel here of practicing Wiccans. So long time. Actually, all of us been practicing craft at least 10 years or more. So We'd love to answer your questions. I know a lot of new people tonight are saying they're just getting into Wicca.
Lady Carol T. Rose Lover says your hat's very sexy. And Lord Bob Crystal Cardenas says, Psychic Bob, your robe is gorgeous.
Well, thank you so much. My robe is actually I think it's a tapestry or altar cloth. In fact, I'll show it to you guys. But it's got a giant pentacle on the back.
Looks awesome.
So I just like it's kind of like a cape, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I got on my witch hat because I be styling and I'm profiling.
I love it. Hey, we got some shout outs in our chat, Bob. We got Simba, we got Crystals Cardenas, we got Billy Atkinson, let's see, we got Gab, we got Sarah Mihia, we got Mama Bird, Stardust, we got Shauna, T Rose Lover, Katie McKenzie.
Oh, this is great. Yeah, well, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. We really love when we have all of our regulars here because, you know, it's really fun. You know, I think that, you know, when people work together regularly, it raises power, especially when we start doing rituals again. You know, it makes all the difference, you know, having everybody who's regular and being part of us. And if you're new here tonight, which we always have a lot of new viewers, we want to welcome you. And we invite you to hang with us. And, you know, you might want to even think about joining the Order of the Purple Cord. And Lady Angela, maybe you and Carol want to take a stab at explaining the Order of the Purple Cord to everybody.
Sure. The Order of the Purple Cord, we're a worldwide group. We're a group of Wiccans. And you don't necessarily have to be Wiccan to join, but you have to be of a like mind and agree to follow the Wiccan Rede, which basically is, and it harm none, do what you will. It's a place for us to get together and be a part of something that's bigger than ourselves and to unite our energy in a positive way for all of us and for all of everybody in the world. It's free to join, and it's pretty easy to contact us and get some more information. You could email Bob at readings@robert-hickman.com, or you can pull us up on Facebook. Just go to Facebook and type in Order of the Purple Cord. You'll see our page there. You can go over there. You can like our page, follow our page, and you could also message us there that you would like to join. And I'll get you over some additional info on links and stuff like that, and also your official membership certificate. And we'll also get you joined up to our secret group page on Facebook. It's a great environment, a great atmosphere. It's just positive, loving, caring, and encouraging. Hope to see you there.
Absolutely. Wonderful. And Lady Carol, do you have anything you'd like to add about being a member of the Order of the Purple Cord?
Well, being a solitary for a very long time, I found that being a member of the OPC, Order of Purple Cord, has actually given me more insight, more inspiration, and just uplifted my spirit. I mean, before it was more or less, oh, I'll practice today or maybe tomorrow or, you know, every now and then. And now it's like, oh, somebody needs a healing, you know, somebody needs a blessing, you know, and it gives you something to actually look forward to helping someone with. A lot of times, you know, it's now and then somebody will go, oh, you know, so-and-so sick. Oh, I'm going to pray for them. Now it's a matter of really devoting yourself. You know, before it was like passe every now and then. Now it gives me something kind of purpose in life. You know, instead of just, I'm going to devote myself, now it's, I'm dedicating myself completely. So, you know, it's actually helped me a lot. Especially in my life. I'm, you know, disabled and my kids are all grown. So it's, what do I do today? You know, I'm going to sit and watch soap operas, play games, or, you know, just be bored. Maybe I'll do a ritual. Now it's, oh, I have to get up and I have to do something. You know, I can't just sit still, you know, and it's a little bit of push that has actually brought me out of a shell that I had lived in for a long time. So I want to say thank you very much for giving me that. You know, a lot of people who are pretty much off to themselves don't realize that when you're part of a large family, the way the Order of the Purple Cord is, you know, we find ways to help one another, to, you know, encourage one another. And before, I didn't have that. I didn't have anyone behind me. You know, my family are pretty much crossed over, and, you know, for the friends that I have, they don't know what I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I was in the closet for so long that when I finally came out, it was like somebody opened a giant Christmas present and said, "Welcome to the world."
Mm-hmm. That's so beautiful, Carol. I got chills. That really is beautiful. And we love having you, girl. And I agree with you there. You know, so many of us are solitary and we do our own thing and we live in kind of like a shell because our people that live around us may not necessarily know what we do, who we are, you know, or our witchy ways. Or like she said, maybe our witchy ways are kind of low key. But once you're able to join with a group of like-minded people, and it's all positive, folks. We don't have any drama people, drama queens, drama kings. None of that kind of stuff goes on in our group. We don't put up with that. It's all positive, loving, caring, and encouraging environment there of like-minded people, and we're a family. Group of friends. It's just we're brothers and sisters. We're a family, and it's not that you have to go and connect with each person. You know, there's no rules like that. But you're going to want to because it's just a positive thing and it's mutually beneficial, and it does break you out of your shell. You know, it encourages you to do more and interact more, and it's like you finally found your home, you know, of like-minded people. You share things and you get excited and you get inspired, and it's just a wonderful positive group. And we'd love to see our group grow, which it has been growing pretty steadily the longer it's been going on. And we all thank Bob for the idea and for creating the order. And Bob's just awesome, and so is the Order of the Purple Cord. It's just an awesome group, and I'm honored to be a big part of it as well.
Well, you two are wonderful, and I'm so honored to serve with you. You know, I created the Order of the Purple Cord because I realized that there are a lot of solitaries, and it's nice to have the freedom of being a solitary, but boy, isn't it nice when you have a crisis and you can come to your family and say, I need prayers, I need magic, I need some ritual.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, the Order of the Purple Cord has brought me so much blessing, especially this last 2 weeks dealing with my mom. And I was like, I can't believe how blessed I am. I've read my mom so many of the letters and messages you guys have sent, and it's brought her healing. And I'm thinking, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lady, for all the good souls in the Order of the Purple Cord. And, you know, like Lady Angela and was saying, she said, you know, we don't have a lot of rules. We're very open. We don't like this rigidity that we see. And this is one of the reasons I created the Order, because I find a lot of Wiccan groups, they tend to go down the rigid, narrow path. And, you know, when I study the Wiccan literature, it's a lot more open and free. And so I wanted a group that reflected what has been my experience, which is freedom and spiritual openness. And that's what we're about, you know. We really are. You know, like Lady Carol was also saying, she said, you know, she gets up every day and she has work to do. And she and Lady Angela both are really kicking in the power. You know, Lady Angela started serving also as the keeper of the sacred flame. And Lady Angela, maybe you can tell them a little bit about the sacred flame.
Oh, sure. I have a special lantern. It's purple glass, and inside it I have a purple candle. And this is my sacred lantern, which I burn the sacred flame. No, the candle's not the sacred flame. It's the flame itself that when I light it and say my prayer and see the healing or the energy or the blessing to those who it's intended for, or to our entire group, it raises up that flame, that energy, that spirit, that illumination and group mind that we have, and sends that positive energy to that person or those people or to everybody. The flame is a sign of spirit, you know, which is love and which is all things. So we're able to send prayers and all of that towards whoever needs it, you know. And what's great too is by being a part of something bigger than yourself and a group of like minds, it raises the group's vibration and it raises our individual power as well, you know, in a positive way filled with love and light.
Absolutely. And might I add, for those of you who may not know this, the idea of keeping a sacred flame is not something we invented. This actually comes from the ancient pagan traditions. Many of the ancient gods and goddesses kept a sacred flame at their temple that would burn, in as a kind of a permanent prayer and an offering to the divine. And so nowadays, because of our modern homes, we don't have marble temples. We can't burn the flame 24 hours. But spiritually, when Lady Angela consecrated that flame, she consecrated that its power would burn spiritually even when it's not lit. And for those of you who are curious about the sacred flame, you might want to do some readings on the ancient goddess Vesta, because she had a sacred flame in her temple. And also the goddess Athena had a sacred flame in her temple, the golden lamp of Athena.
But Hecate has her torches as well, which are also sacred flames.
That's true. Thank you. Gosh, I didn't think that. You're absolutely right. Yes. So, and now, Lady Carol is also serving in a great, powerful intercessory way. And she is our keeper of the sacred staff. And she's doing a lot of intercessory work with her staff. And maybe you can talk about some of her intercessory work and what she's doing with that.
Yes, actually, I was inspired to do something for the Order of the Purple Cord. When Mother Hickman got injured, I felt an impulse to make a prayer book. Now, I haven't found it yet, but it is still a working book. And I'm going to try, if my camera will let me, it's a new camera, so forgive me, and show you the prayer on the front page of the book. I won't show the names in the book because that's kind of a privacy thing, but I will show you the prayer.
Oh, that's gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
Beautiful. Can you read it for us?
Yes. What it says, I said a prayer for you today, that God would touch you with his healing hand and give you the comfort and peace you need to get through. And I keep that on the front of the book as I write the names in the book. Now I will show you some of the blank pages of the book, and all they are just prayer pages.
Oh, that's nice.
And as the names come in, I write them down. I also write down who requested the prayer and the date. In the back of the book, I also have a section for pets, because pets are our family as well. So on the pets section of the book, I write down the name of the pet, the owner's name, the illness of the pet, and pray for that animal as well.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
It's lovely. And you're also enjoying the power of the sacred staff, aren't you?
Yes. When I have an actual working altar, and if the names come in, I pray on that altar with the sacred staff so that we can connect our energies for healing.
I love it. Carol,
That's an awesome book. People are going crazy over it. They want to know how to get one also.
Well, basically what I did was I went online and I found certain pages that I liked and just bound them together. And if someone has a request for prayer, whether it's me through the OPC or, just out in public, I will write that person's name in the book and I will pray for them every day. This is a daily thing that I do. I'm working actively every day. Unless I leave home, the candle continues to burn. So it's kind of keeping the sacred flame when, others can't, because I'm home most of the time.
That's awesome.
Carol, can I ask you, can you turn your volume down? I'm getting some strange feedback here. Just a little bit. See if that stabilizes the sound. Are you hearing feedback, Lady Angela?
Yep, everybody is. We got some more regulars in the chat box. We got Melanie Miller, we got G Dog, we got Matt Burns, we got Mama Birds here. A lot of regulars and new names.
And Melanie said Melanie Miller, Mama Birds. Denise Simmons is here. Hey G Dog, good to see you. I love it. Well, you know, in my capacity, I'm getting some feedback here. I'm a keeper of the sacred chalice. I'm gonna check something. I gotta check my
my volume is turned down, so I don't know what it is.
Yeah, mine's on mute, so I shouldn't do it.
And I'm only on Hangouts.
I don't know what's going on.
It seems to be better now.
Okay. Oh, I lost my chat.
Oh, okay. Stardust has a wonderful question. Thank you, Stardust. They ask, are orbs spirits or are they vehicles for spirits? I have a lot here at home, and are the red ones bad? There's a lot of red ones outside.
Well, that's a good question. I do believe that orbs are spirits. But let me clarify that. What happens when a spirit wants to manifest? I'm getting the strangest feedback here. When a spirit wants to manifest, what it does is it takes a form for movement. Because of the laws of physics, it's easiest for it to form its body into a spherical shape to conserve energy. Now, when a spirit moves in its orb form, it means it's condensing its energy to propel itself. But once the spirit stabilizes, then it expands that orb into a full body form. Usually what will happen is you'll have a head form, and slowly the body will form. So the orb is the spirit body, but it's a condensed form of that body. Good question.
That was a great question. Guys have more questions? We're looking forward to questions.
Yeah, we're taking any questions. Anything you want to ask tonight? We'd like it to be kept on the subject of Wicca. You know, I'm not doing private readings here, but we do questions related to magic, Wicca, anything like that.
Mama Bird says she believes that the big golden ones are angels.
Oh yes, I believe that too. Many people have seen angels and they have golden wings and golden light around them. And I've seen them as that form too.
I have a story. One of my uncles, it's my grandma's oldest son. Well, he had committed suicide when he was in his 20s, and this is many, 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 many years ago, like 40 years ago. Well, he would do funny things in her house as a ghost, you know, like if a certain song he liked in life came on the TV, she had an old touch lamp that she will never, ever, ever get rid of because she believes her son Steve communicates with her through it. And one of his favorite songs would come on and the lamp would start dancing with the music. And you would think, well, maybe the vibration of it did it. Well, no, because it didn't do it all the time. It was very rarely. And Granny don't play her TV loud. Well, this had gone on for years, different things that my Uncle Steve would do. He'd hide her glasses and stuff and bring them back as a spirit, you know. Well, the story I want to tell you about was one time I had just moved there and I was staying with her in Oklahoma for a while. This is when I was younger, about 18 years old. And she had a digital camera. And oh, I was excited. She had a digital camera. This is top of the line to me, you know, and I wanted to capture orbs and spirits. So I waited till nighttime and I ran around, you know, her house with the camera, snapping pictures and inside in different rooms. And then I went into her bedroom and she had him cremated. And so she had his cremation remains in a special box. And at the time it was on the top shelf in her closet in her bedroom. She had the door shut. And I said, okay, Grandma, I'm going to get a picture of Uncle Steve. She's on her bed there, watching TV, wiggling her toes, how she does. And she said, well, okay. And I said, well, where is he? She says, he's in the closet there. So I just pointed it at the camera and I said, okay, Uncle Steve, I'm going to get a picture of you. And I snapped it. Well, later on, you know, we uploaded the pictures to her computer to check them out, see if I caught anything. Well, no, fireflies and this and that, except in that last picture. And it was in her room, in the closet, and I swear it had a glowing orb up in the corner of the wooden closet doors. There was a glowing orb about the area where that that remains are. And it's been many years. And I asked her, hey, Granny, do you have, when I was there not long ago, I said, Granny, do you have a picture of Uncle Steve? She said, well, no, you know, they've gotten destroyed over the years. She goes, but I do have that one that you snapped of him in my room that night. And I said, what? Which one? And she reminded me about it. And sure enough, she pulled it out. And she keeps it, that big glowing orb picture. And that's a picture of her passed away son.
Oh, how amazing is that? Isn't that wonderful?
Yep.
You know, we're so fortunate because in the craft, we have a knowledge of the eternality of life. You know, whereas a lot of Western culture, death's a taboo. You don't talk about it. But in the craft, we say we love our deceased ones. We welcome them. And, you know, every year, Samhain, we have a celebration about that. I think the craft brings a lot of healing to people's lives. I think that's wonderful. I think
Absolutely.
Listen, we got a lot of questions.
Oh, yeah. Stardust says, thank you for talking about the orbs. They want a little clarification. Are the red orbs bad?
Oh, no, let me tell you, the colors are, how do I explain this? The colors are not necessarily symbols of good or evil. Usually what it is whatever power, just so you know, when a spirit wants to manifest, it will draw energy off a power source. More often than not, that color is indicative of an energy source, and it's pulling in a certain frequency to stabilize its energy. And it's really a physics thing rather than a spiritual quality thing.
Very good answer. Melanie Miller asks, do angels emit an odor when they are around?
I've not heard of angels, but I do know a lot of deceased people will bring their favorite perfume or smell of tobacco. You know, I have to tell you, I was in a spiritualist church one time, and I was literally before the service, I was in the pews praying, and literally I had another medium with me. We literally heard footsteps of a lady walking down the aisle of the church. We literally felt her breeze as she went by and smelled her perfume. But there was nobody there. I mean, there was, but we couldn't see her.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a visit. So spirits a lot of times will give a scent to let you know they're around.
Also around Samhain, you know, when we set up our altars for our ancestral dead, you know, our beloved passed away, sometimes they'll come and you put out trinkets that they liked. Like my granny, she's still alive now, of course, but she likes jewelry, you know, jewels and rocks, and me and her would just have a ball going through all her jewelry. Some's real, some's costume, or we go through mine and my crystals and beads and rocks, and she would just wiggle her toes and be happy. And I told her, well, Granny, when you pass every year at Halloween time at Samhain, I'm going to put out my jewelry boxes and my crystals for you and just set it up on a nice table, a display for you, and you can come and play with my jewels. And she said, oh, I will. And I said, and I'll know you're coming because of the smell of your perfume, you know. But a lot of people do report that when they set up things, even altars in their home that are up all the time, when their loved ones come to visit in spirit form, you'll sometimes notice it because of the smell in the air.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Gab says he has a question. He has a new Moldavite pendant, and he wants to start practicing astral projection. He's wondering if that stone will help him, as he's heard it's great for astral projection.
Well, let me tell you, Moldavite's an interesting stone. It will help you astral project, but you may not, using that stone, you may not end up in the spirit realm. You might end up in another world, like a terrestrial world, because that stone connects to alien energy. And you might find yourself like transporting to Mars or to Jupiter or another place. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that stone is more connected, at least in my experience, to connecting to alien planet realms rather than the spirit realm.
Since it's more otherworldly.
Yeah.
There's a couple questions going on there. People are wondering, how is it that spirits are able to emit an odor?
Good question. Well, when a spirit wants to materialize in the earth, it, in a sense, recreates a semblance of its body. Now, when spirits are in the spirit world, they can recreate any reality if they have enough power. And that's one of the signs that you know you've got a good spirit, because to create a beautiful smell like a favorite perfume or like roses, this has to be somebody of a high vibration, because low spirits, like earthbounds that are, very dark, and they tend to emit foul odors. So it takes a more elevated soul to generate a beautiful scent and fragrance. So that's how you know. But they manifest it through their consciousness and their will. See, in the spirit world, everything's about will. You say, I choose to manifest this. And this is why, like my spirit guides were saying the other day, they're saying, develop yourself, because the skills, like we use in Wicca, like when we do a spell, as you guys know, we practice visualization, right? And that visualization and that intent with our chanting and raising a power brings a change in our material world. But it's the same thing in the spirit world. It's just a little easier. But if you develop those skills now, like how to do visualization, how to create manifestation, when you get the spirit world, you'll be an ace at it.
Excellent answer, Bob. Linda S. has a question. She says, I have a picture of me about 20 years ago or so. Basically, the picture was clear when it was first taken. But over the last 20 years, it has gathered in the picture itself more and more spirit smoke. Any thoughts on that? That's interesting.
Whenever you see like a wispy substance, it was like cigarette smoke around a picture around somebody, that's what we call ectoplasm. Ectoplasm is power that is drawn from a medium's body to manifest spiritual phenomena. Now, ectoplasm can form independent, and usually it forms independent of the medium's body, but actually on some level it's always connected to a medium's body, because it's our own blood cells have a substance within them that we call ectoplasm. And it's kind of like if you think about like a white blood cell membrane being pulled from a cell temporarily and being taken by spirit, molded into a substance that can be formed and physically present. That's called ectoplasm. And so when you see that in pictures, that's what that is. And sometimes what happens is ectoplasm will literally solidify in a room. Like you can physically touch it and analyze it and explore it. But that's what that's
kind of like a silly putty, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. Carol, that's a great word. I hadn't thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right.
What did you say?
Carol said it's like silly putty in a way.
So how would it increase on the picture? Is it like just drawn to it, or does it show like maybe as they strengthen their psychic ability, it gets there, or how does that?
Well, I think it's really a combination of spirit is using that picture to send a message, and spirits they have amazing techniques. There's a spiritualist place up in New York you might want to look up. It's called Camp Lilydale in upstate New York. And they actually have a museum there of paintings that were created by spirits. And what they would do is they would go into a seance and say, like, they'd have a blank, like say this is a canvas, okay? They would put a blank canvas on an easel and the mediums would go into trance and this painting would form on the canvas. I've also seen spirits materialize images on film, photographic plates, and on actually printed photos. So they do manifest through a substance using ectoplasm.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's amazing. If you look it up, I did a video a few years ago. You can look it up on spirit paintings. So if you go to my channel, there's a little hourglass. You can actually, a lot of people don't know this, you can search for subject matters within somebody's channel. So if you go to my channel at the little hourglass that's up at the top, you'll see within, like not all the far top, but like in the midway down, you type in spirit paintings, you'll see my video on that.
Oh, honey, you have videos on everything, Bob. You really do. Over the last, 10, 12 years now, you have videos on I know me and several others, we'll go on there. We just start watching your old stuff. And I mean, it's some good gems of info in there. Really good.
I've actually caught myself going back. I've got an entire favorites list of nothing but Spirit Channel all over the place. From the beginning to now, I just save everything I possibly can because I go back and reference and go, oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
There's little tidbits that you know, you may miss. And I just go back and I use them as references. And then I'll go and I'll research something. And it's like, oh, that's what he was talking about. That's what he meant. Oh, wow. I know, you know, I mean, I love, you know, being part of the OPC because, you know, Bob just, he brings us into the world that we don't get to see, you know. And a lot of people, you know, they're shut-ins or, you know, just let life pass them by and they miss a lot. And I was actually one of them. And now it's like kind of like I'm living a second life because I never saw or, you know, knew a lot of things, you know. And then when I did learn was from books or maybe somebody told me, you know, in passing. But to actually get into it and learn is like, wow. It's like growing all over again.
Well, you know, this is what I love about spiritualism as well as the craft, is that you're perpetually a student. You know, people sometimes say to me, oh, Bob, you're a great expert on the subject matter. I said, no, I'm really a student.
We're lifetime learners.
I'm still learning. I'll never learn it all. And there are mediums that know 100 times more than I know.
Oh, yeah. Matt Burns has a great question. He asks, are most Wiccans old souls? Lady Carol, what do you have to say about that?
Oh, boy. Why? Because I'm the oldest one in the group.
Oh,
we're talking about on a soul level, girl.
I know. That too.
Lady Carol, can I interrupt a second? Is your camera off? I can't see you.
No, it's on.
Are you getting a blank screen?
Yeah, I see you fine. I see both of you just fine.
I know I can see each of us, but I can't see you.
I'm right here. I don't know.
Have a blank. Carol or Lady Angela, do you have a blank screen?
Yeah, when Carol speaks, it's a blank screen.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Well, yeah, most Wiccans are definitely old souls. And I think that once we come into the light of our spirituality and realize that we're Wiccans, we're not always, when we're brought up, a lot of us are brought up to be Christian. That's kind of the norm, or Catholic, or a certain religious group. And as we age and mature and we find our path that, hey, we're Wiccan, or hey, we're spiritualists, suddenly we tap more into like our reincarnation and our lifespan of that. And we realize just how old of a soul we are. I believe, yes, we are old souls. And how Bob had said on one of his videos not long ago, he said that all of us here now, we're on a mission. We have a path, a theme. And we've all lived before, and we have something that we're working on to accomplish. And I always think back on that, you know, about how we're all old souls and we all do have a purpose here right now.
Absolutely.
There you are, Carol. You're back.
Okay. It was something with the camera settings. It's a new camera, so I haven't figured all the settings out.
Lisa B asks us, she says, hello, I'm looking to get a transfer at her job. What crystals are good to carry or wear for that?
Well, you know, I'm a big believer in, well, there are two things. Iron pyrite is always a prosperity gem. Gold, it brings power, prestige, and prosperity. But I discovered another metal recently that's considered a metal that helps to move people forward. And it's titanium.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, titanium is considered a metal that encourages movement, whether it's dimensional movement, like if you want to do astral projection. In fact, I was going to say to whoever asked about astral projection, or I forgot to say, titanium is a new metal that's being used in magic. Well, it's not a new metal, but it's newly being used in magic.
That's very
for advancement, movement, transformation. So you might want to get a titanium ring. They make jewelry out of titanium, and explore experimenting with that, as well as with fool's. They call it fool's gold, which is iron pyrite.
Yep. I'd recommend adventuring stone. It's a green stone, adventuring. It's just good for travel and progress. And also green fluorite is a really good one for that as well, I believe.
You know, thank you. I forgot about green fluorite. That's a good, very good stone.
How about you, Carol? Any suggestions on that? Herbs they could maybe use for changes in jobs. Basil's wonderful.
several herbs that can be used, depending on the combination you use as well, because you know you really have to balance them out. So herbs are kind of tricky. But what I can suggest is a clover, something very simple. Carry a clover with your stone and make yourself a little sash or carry it in your wallet, carry it in your purse, keep them together. Another thing I like to do is add a coin or a dollar bill. Money is paper. Paper is made from trees. That's an element as well. People forget that. Our cloth, it is. If you look at papyrus and how it's made from trees, it's made from cloth. Money is actually cloth. It's made from both elements. So you can actually bring that power in as well. Whether you're looking for more money, a better job, you know, just having change every now and then to meet those little expenses that pop up.
Yep.
I always make little bags with some currency in it, whether it be a quarter, a penny, a dime, a nickel, even foreign money, because it still carries that energy. One thing I do suggest though, make sure you cleanse it before you use it, because money is handled so many hands. You don't want to add any negative energy when you're trying to work a positive spell.
Yep. That's great advice. Also, over on my website, Lisa B, at rarewiccaspells.com, in my spell pages in the money category, I have a variety of spell pages there, at least 4 or 5 different ones that are simple rituals for job interview, for getting a new job, for employment. Some of them are rune magic rituals, very simple stuff, little sigils you could write down to strengthen that, or procedures like if you have the newspaper that has the ad for the job, that ideal job, you know, and you could burn a candle near that, you know, and just different techniques. You might take a peek over there. Again, that's at rarewiccaspells.com in my all spells and rituals section in the money category. Look over there and you just might find some other ideas as well. Katie McKenzie says, what do Wiccans believe about the afterlife?
Oh, that's an intense question.
Yeah, and again, we all have our own beliefs. There's not just one set thing. Also, we gotta say that.
Yeah, you're right, Lady Angela. The Wiccan faith is not dogmatic. And what I mean by that is we don't say, thou shalt believe this, and if you don't, you're not a Wiccan. It is commonly believed among many, not all, but many believe in the concept of the Summerland. The Summerland is a place that is paradisical, where the Fae reside, where departed souls reside. And they rest in between lifetimes, between incarnations. And it's believed that at the end of your life, you get to go to that place of beauty and rest, where you get to reflect on your life and decide if you want to come back for another incarnation. That's kind of a common belief I found among the Wicca. Do you guys have anything you want to say?
Well, Bob, you always speak about when you do your messages videos and your seances and all, and the spirits come and they describe, you know, like what heaven or paradise is. And it's something that you create and that's perfect and specific to you.
Yeah.
Summerland is another name for our heaven or our paradise. I know in my Summerland, there's ponds and waterfalls and big flowers and nice weather and puppy dogs and bunny rabbits. And that's my Summerland, and it's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, you know, my guides always talk about the spirit world. And the spirit world and the Summerland really are the same thing. In fact, in some spiritualist churches, they even call the spirit world the Summerland, which I always thought interesting, because some people in the spiritualist churches get really offended when you connect them to Wicca or witchcraft, because they say, we're spiritualists, we're not witches, but they use all the same terms and beliefs. So it's kind of funny. But yes, you're right, Lady Angela. It is a place where you create your reality. And this is why, you know, my guides are always emphasizing, raise your consciousness. They always say, raise it now, because then when you go over, it's really much better for you. You know, don't wait and say, oh, I'll convert to spiritual life when I'm 95 years old before I die. No, do it now. Do it now. I know.
I don't want to wait till I'm 95. I probably won't remember it.
Exactly.
That's great. That's great.
I agree.
T Rose Lover asks us, when a person passes and goes to the spirit realm, when are they reincarnated? Does their original soul stay here and a new soul begin on, or does their original soul stay behind? I think they mean in the spirit realm, and a new soul begin on Earth.
I'm going to say not really, because a human being, your soul, your consciousness, your body, mind, and spirit. The body decays and dies and goes to the ground. The mind, which is my guys, in fact, they talked about it yesterday. The mind is part physical and part spiritual. So your consciousness stays with your soul essence. And that soul essence goes into the spiritual realm where it can then choose to come back in a new body. But you never end up being in a split situation where you're kind of here and there at the same time. At least it's not been my experience. So.
Well, I always think about it too, to add on that, we have our higher self, which could be like how they're referring to an original spirit. And so we do always have that link to our higher self. So we do kind of have a foot in both, here and there, if you think in terms of the higher self.
Well, okay, that I can agree with that, yeah.
Not to contradict you, just to add an alternate.
No. I may have misunderstood their question. I got the sense, and please correct me if I'm misinterpreting it. I got the sense they thought that like you would split and be two different places and never connect again, or maybe I misinterpreted that.
Or maybe that's what they meant and I misinterpreted it, but still, that's why we're here. We give you all sorts of views on it and questions on it. And we don't always agree, but we see the same.
I agree.
One thing I want to say, they're asking the question also of when do you reincarnate? I think that's an individual thing. There's no specific time of, oh, you have to be there 10, 15, 100, 200, 500 years, and then you reincarnate. That's an individual thing because, some souls may not want to reincarnate. It's not a mandatory thing. This is something that we pretty much decided, hey, I want to go back and fix this or work on this, but they're not saying you have to.
Right.
That's your choice. We're all given free will, and we have to remember that it still applies in the spirit world. Free will remains throughout. So to say, when does it happen? When do you want it to happen? If you want it to happen. I think that's where people get confused. They think that you have to, reincarnate. My husband and I, we get into this subject all the time. He's like, well, if I die, does that mean I'm going to come back a dog or a tree or, something like that? I was like, do you want to? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, then you won't.
Right.
It's a matter of choice. You have free will. So, it's not like they're going to force you to come back. That's up to you.
I agree with you. And I think that each incident of reincarnation is between you, your soul up there, and your creator. And it's something you work out. And each different reincarnation is different. There's no set rule, just like Lady Carol said. There's no rule that, okay, you're going to stay up here for a year and then you're going to get recycled and you're going to come back as this, and then maybe next time you get 3 years up there. There's no rule. It's between you and the creator. And who are we to really put a time on it? We don't know because, it's between you and the creator, and each one is different. So that was a great answer, Carol. Very great answer.
Good answer. I love it. I got to jump in here. Denise Simmons has a good question. Denise she says, can you see anyone you want in the spirit world? Like you think of someone and they manifest. Really good question. I have to speak from a spiritualist perspective. Sometimes in the spirit world, well, let me say, yes, to a degree, you can see anyone you want, but let me quantify that with saying they may not be able to stay with you
Oh.
always in the spirit world. Now, the reason why I say that is that people will go to different levels, if you want to think of it as planes of reality. And this is kind of a false misnomer, but it's the best way I can describe it. Let's say you've lived a really high level spiritual life. You're up here on this plane. Let's say that the person that you love may have not always been so right and prepared their soul and done all the work. They may be on a lower plane than you. They will not necessarily be able to come up to you, but they can call and ask for you to come down to them. And they themselves can come down and visit you, but they cannot bring you to their plane. So for a while, some souls are in a sense separated in the spirit. It's not punishment, but there's a clarity there of who you really are, and you are where you're supposed to be. And people don't view it as punishment; they accept it. It's kind of an understanding. So, if you're down here and you say, well, I want to talk to, Benjamin Franklin, and he's up here, he may or may not come. It's his choice. So, yes, you can to a degree, but not always. I hope that makes some sense.
That's a great answer. Tinker had a good question. They ask, how do spirits remember and transmit messages with no physical brain? What I believe is the answer to that is that in spirit, we're all part of our creator. We all share the mind with the main, with God. And so when we're in spirit, you don't have to have a physical brain to transmit messages, because the all-knowing God, our creator, is where that source comes from. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, actually, I was going to say, a lot of people have heard of the Book of Life. We've all heard of the Akashic records. Everything about us, from the day we were created into spirit, is in that record. So all of our memories and all of our events in our lives, whatever way you want to look at it, are in those records. So it's very easy to go back and remember, oh, I remember this person, I remember this person, because it's already stored. You don't have to worry about having a physical brain when it's already written out for you.
Yes. That's a great description.
I agree with you. I think that's wonderful.
She did a better job of answering that than I did. You did good on that one, girl. Beautiful words.
I'm so I know about the record. Okay.
Myth Raven has a question that follows on with some of this, and he says, "Are relationships predetermined?" Oops, I just lost it. Predetermined, I think, before birth. And let me put it this way: some relationships are predetermined. Like, for example, when you choose your incarnation, you plan the family you're going to be born into, and you may choose ahead of time key players in your life, like your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend, your siblings. And so there's a lot of times a group consensus that forms to create an incarnation. So yes, some of the relationships are predetermined. Not all of them are, though, because in your journey, you build in what we call option one, saying like, at age 30, I might move to India, or I might move to Hawaii. And the people that you encounter based on those choices may not be necessarily predetermined. So not everyone is. Some of them are. You guys
I agree with that. I've discovered that I think something I've done in many of my lifetimes is to the trial and error way, and perhaps sometimes we're not always destined to have that partner. We might be with someone for a while, and then something will happen, and then we move on. But it's just sometimes we keep trying for that, or maybe even pushing it too hard, where truth be told, we're actually supposed to go along our own way on our own and experience our journey on our own. Sometimes that's the case, and sometimes that significant relationship you're supposed to have is maybe with your child, or a very good friend of yours, and that it's not necessarily a sexual like that or marriage type relationship, but maybe they'll manifest to you. You're just supposed to meet and become best of friends, or you're supposed to have that child, and maybe they were your parent in another life, just you have that soul link. So sometimes, yeah, it sure would be nice if when we're born, though, we're given a map to those people we're supposed to know, who we're supposed to be with, to know where they are, and just, you know, like a little pin on the map so we know where to go. That would be very helpful.
They all come with an instruction manual, and nobody ever gets one of those.
Right, girl? I agree. It'd be so helpful.
I agree. T-Rose Lover just asked, so can you call in a family member that's passed and they'll stay with you? Or, oops, I lost it. I can't see the rest of it. Something about if you visit them in a cemetery, are they present? Let me put it this way. This is where it goes back to free will. If your family member has lived in a way that gives them the power to come back and communicate, they've raised their vibration throughout life, they'll have more connection with you at death. Now, I know some people say, well, I have the most spiritual person and they died and I never hear from them. Does that mean they don't love me or that I'm bad? No, it doesn't mean that. There is, to talk about spirit communication, this could be a whole show, but basically in a nutshell, everything in the spirit realm, the earth realm is based on vibration. And sometimes it takes a while for that vibration to be connected. Like your vibration is up here, yours is here. And then for you two to connect, you've got to find the middle ground. So it's kind of a trial and error a lot of times. As many of you know, have been with me in readings and in seances, sometimes the connection will start and then it'll break off. Sometimes it happens in a reading. But, you know, it's like you try to get that frequency matched. So don't ever blame yourself or think you're bad because you don't hear from a lover that they hate you. No, never believe it. And you don't have to go to a graveyard to talk to people. You can talk to them right in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy Private has a great question. She says, Lady Angela, how can I call upon my mother and hear what her spirit is saying to me in my home? You know, one way you could try to strengthen that, and for those of us who don't have the wonderful powers of Psychic Bob, we can use a pendulum. Find a pendulum that you feel attracted to, or even like a necklace with a little dangly something that for you represents your mom, or that you have consecrated to represent for your mom, perhaps a pendulum of a certain stone, and you can cleanse it and hold it and close your eyes and say, Mom, I'm going to use this to talk to you. And you can hold I have a wonderful video on pendulum magic, but you can use the pendulum at first to build up that give and take, that flow of communication. Of course, it'll be in yes, no, or maybe type questions at first. But once you start using connecting with the spirit world, it will get stronger, and I guarantee she'll start popping up in your dreams, and then you just might actually start hearing things or seeing things. But definitely pendulums are a good gateway to communicating with the spirits.
I want to add something to that. If you have an item, a piece of jewelry, some clothing that belong to your mom, or you know, the person you're trying to connect with, that will also help, because there's a resonant vibration left behind by the spirit, and you can actually use that to try and communicate with spirit, as well as using pendulums. If you're not afraid of Ouija board, I suggest you, if you have something that belongs to them, whether it be, you know, a piece of jewelry, a watch, clothing that belong to that person, it does two things. One, it comforts you, because a lot of times when you're trying to reach a loved one like that, your vibration is so high because you're antsy. You just really want it so badly. You need to calm down. So by doing that, it will help you to get in touch with them.
Where'd you go, Bob?
I had to follow on with what Carol's saying. I loved it. I thought it was so well said, and it got me excited about something. And I agree with Carol. You know, when you use an object of a loved one, it strengthens the bond. Another technique that you might want to explore is scrying, either with a black mirror, or I've really gotten into water scrying this last few years. And this is my water scrying bowl. I travel with this because it's a great type of tool to travel with. It's lightweight. And I got this actually from Lady Angela's site at rarewiccaspells.com. And it's got the maiden, the mother, and Cronus. What is the name of this? I think it's a triple goddess scrying bowl or something.
The goddess scrying bowl. Yep, triple goddess scrying bowl.
And this is great because if you put water in it, you can use it as a doorway to connect with your spirit loved ones. And their faces can manifest through it. You can go into the spirit world. It's really amazing. And I love the black mirror. I love the crystal ball. But I find that my most intense experiences happen with the scrying bowl. And I think that's because that water, at least for me, is an active elemental power that's strengthening my connection. So I would encourage you to think about this as a technique also to connect with loved ones.
That's great. Gee whiz, Bob, did you see what time it is?
What time is it?
Holy cow.
By heavens, I don't know where the time flies. You know, guys, Carol, what are you doing? You've been shifting around that magic staff there, making time move.
Stirring it up.
Actually, I'm working on a new wand, and I think it's pulling all the energy from the room, so it's pulling the time as well.
I believe in it. I believe in it. Well, guys, I got to tell you, I don't know where the time goes. I wish we all had the time. We all are very busy. We'd love to stay on here all night if we could, but you know, we all have work to do. And but I want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you who came out tonight. And your questions were great. I want to just say, you know, we try to get to as many people as we can. I sometimes get letters and people say, you didn't answer my question. We try to do the best we can. And please know we're not trying to ignore you. It's a time limitation thing, okay? But I hope that you'll be here. Bring your questions again. You know, we always love to get your questions, and we'll get back to them and next week as well. But I want to say thank you. You know, definitely, you know, think about joining the Order of the Purple Cord. You know, as Lady Angela said earlier, you don't have to be a Wiccan, because sometimes we say, well, I'm just curious about Wicca. I don't know if I'm ready to make a full commitment of my life to Wicca. That's okay. Come join the Order. You'll learn with us and decide if it's your path, you know. We don't force you to join or make any decisions. That's up to you, but we just welcome you. And I want to say thank you. Thanks for being here. And I want to let each of the ladies say goodnight and talk about their websites as well.
Okay. I also want to thank everybody for coming out. You know, tonight with us, we look forward to gathering with you here, both our regulars and new people, especially our Purple Cord members that gather here. We want to thank you guys for coming and taking part of it. We really look forward to it each week, and we really enjoy sharing this time with you each week and seeing you here. And even if you watch it after it's already recorded and posted, we appreciate you guys, you know, watching us and just showing interest in being here. And if you wanted to go ahead and check out some pretty cool witchy stuff, go over to my website at rarewiccaspells.com. I have all sorts of stuff from trinkets to candles to herbs to stones to jewelry to all sorts of stuff. It's worth a look. Go. And also you have a coupon code. Whatever you purchase from me there, use coupon code Spirit Channel to save 10% on every order.
And then get the scrying bowl like mine there, can't they?
Mm-hmm. And Bob has his own category on my website. It's called Psychic Bob's Favorites, and you can find that exact scrying bowl in that category.
I just love it. And Lady Carol's working on the middle of a move right now, I think, aren't you, Lady Carol?
Yes, actually I am. Right now I'm kind of in the process of packing things up and moving. Hopefully within the next month, I'm planning on getting the website up. I'm actually working on a few wands right now. And I may end up doing some blank books. I'm not sure yet. I have one, but I don't have it right now that I was going to show. But I will let you know this much. When it comes up, you will be the first to know. So just hang tight with me, guys. I do want to thank you all for being with us. I'm, you know, really overwhelmed right now. with everything going on. But I'm going to do my best that I possibly can, you know, to stay in touch with you guys and you know, continue praying for everyone out there. So just be patient. 1 month, not that long.
All right. Yay. Well, I tell you, we had the best time. And, you know, for those of you who have more questions, if you have some in-depth, more, you know, in-depth spiritual questions, if you have questions about your journey, your own life path, you might want to think about having a reading with me. For those of you who may not know, I am a full-time professional psychic medium. And if you want to connect with me, you can call my office at 571-483-2112 and get on the schedule. We're going to have the links to all of this and the websites for everybody in the box below this video when it finishes processing. And give me a call. We'll get you on the schedule. Right now I am traveling, so I'm doing phone readings and Skype readings. But I'm still taking people. We've been getting pretty full the last few days, but hopefully we'll squeeze you in somewhere. And I'd love the chance to sit down. And you know, in a private reading, as Lady Angela and Lady Carol can tell you, it's you and me one-on-one for an hour. And we're going to cover everything: past lives, present lives, future conditions. We're going to talk about spirit guides. We're going to talk about your life mission, your life theme. You know, we're going to bring over messages from deceased loved ones and friends, and you know, connect you with those in the spirit world who want to talk to you. And I also answer all of your questions. So I cover a lot in an hour. But I think that you know, it might be something that you might want to consider. Okay. And also you can pop over to my website, robert-hickman.com, read more about my readings, learn more about my books. I'm also a published author. We've got books over there you can buy at my bookstore. And you can learn about the Order of the Purple Cord. So definitely check it out. And Lady Angela, can you give our Facebook page again for Order of the Purple Cord?
Yeah, it's really easy, you guys. Just go over to Facebook and type in Order of the Purple Cord. It'll get you where you need to be, and you can message us directly with questions or that you would like to join, and we'll get you taken care of.
Yeah, and when you join the order, you know, you get a special membership certificate. So you'll be able to frame that, print it, and frame it. And we're working on a manual as well. And we're going to have a membership book that we'll give you as well. That will be a free PDF format download. And you get access to, you know, more of our teachings and our rituals and things. And we're going to be doing more rituals and gatherings in the coming weeks. And when Lord Tony is back with us, we can do a little more. But we're so glad you're here tonight. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this. And did you guys have anything else you want to say before we close out?
Nope, just thanking everybody for being here, and can't wait for next week.
Thank you for being here. And again, happy Father's Day to everyone out there.
Happy Father's Day. Guys, thanks for being here. I love you. Make sure to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday. And what is Monday?
Horoscopes. I can't wait.
That's right. Tomorrow's horoscopes. So we'll see you back here. Make sure to tune into Spirit Channel. And by the way, I always forget to say, go over to Lady Angela's channel and subscribe to her YouTube. She's going to be putting out teaching videos very soon. She and I are going to be working on tandem. And Carol, you got a YouTube channel also, don't you?
No, not yet.
Not yet. I thought you did. Okay, but you're going to be developing.
Which is going to be switching over when I move. So kind of working on all of that. Until
She's working on it.
All right. Well, she'll have one. But for right now, definitely, you know, go subscribe to Lady Angela. And if you haven't subscribed to Spirit Channel, we'd love you to be here. And hit the bell so you get the updates. And follow us on Facebook. I love you guys. We're out of here. Until tomorrow, may you always blessed
be. Night.
Good night.